The night sky fractured as Selena's escape pod breached Earth's atmosphere, trailing smoke and debris across the Montana wilderness. The vessel, little more than a crystalline shell housing life support systems, wasn't designed for planetary entry. As it crashed through ancient pines and embedded itself in frozen soil, Selene's violet blood spilled across unfamiliar controls, miles away. Javier Cruz felt the impact rattle the windows of his isolated cabin. 3 years since he'd left civilization behind, seeking solace after his search and rescue, career ended in tragedy. The mountain solitude had become his sanctuary. His only companions, the wildlife and occasional hikers who strayed too far from marked trails. Probably just a meteorite, he muttered, pulling his weathered jacket tighter against the February chill. But something, perhaps old instincts, compelled him to investigate. With flashlight in hand and his Belgian Malinois, Ruger at his side, he tracked through fresh snow toward a faint glow between distant trees. What he found stole his breath. A translucent structure, shaped like a massive seed, emitted pulses of teal light through fractured panels. More surprising was the figure that emerged, humanoid, but unmistakably alien, with silvery skin that reflected moonlight in iridescent patterns. Delicate, gill-like structures fluttered at her neck, eyes like liquid mercury fixed on him. Ruger growled low, but Javier held him back. "Easy, boy." The being collapsed, leaking luminescent fluid from a gash across her torso. Despite her otherworldly appearance, the pain in her expression transcended species. "Please," she managed in halting English, each word seeming to cost her considerable effort. "They follow." Instinct overrode fear. Javier approached cautiously, medical training superseding his shock. The alien flinched when he reached toward her, raising a 6-fingered hand defensively. "I'm trying to help," he said softly, the way he'd speak to frightened hikers. "You're bleeding, Selene," she whispered, pressing a small device against her throat that seemed to facilitate translation. "My designation is Selene, Javier," he responded, surprised by how human her name sounded. "Can you walk?" She nodded weakly. With cautious movements, he helped her stand, noticing how light she was despite being nearly his height. Her skin felt cool and slightly textured. It's like polished stone. Together, they moved toward his cabin, leaving strange footprints in pristine snow, one set human, one set with an unusual 3-toed pattern. Above them, satellites tracked her descent, and in distant military installations. Phones began to ring by firelight. Javier examined her wound, finding anatomy similar yet alien to human physiology. When he applied pressure to stop the bleeding, Selena's eyes widened with surprise. "You aid me? Without terms?" "That's what humans do," Javier replied, though he knew this wasn't always true. "At least it's what we should do." Reluctant protection, Dawn revealed Selene more. Clearly her face possessed a delicate structure with subtle ridges where human eyebrows would be. Hair like filaments, platinum in color, moved gently as though suspended in water. The wound across her torso had partially sealed itself overnight, edges knitting together with remarkable speed. "My species heals quickly," she explained. Watching Javier prepare coffee with curious intensity, the Azuran physiology evolved in high-radiation environments. Javier handed her water instead, which she examined before drinking. "Why are you here?" "Accident?" Selena's mercury eyes darkened. "Escape?" "Was medical researcher. Created regenerative technology." Her translation device struggled with complex concepts. Military wanted for weapons. "I refused, became ... criminal." "So you're a fugitive," Javier concluded, understanding her situation better than she realized. His own past contained enough shadows to recognize someone on the run. "Yes. Stole prototype vessel. Not meant for long travel." She gestured toward the crash site. "Need 3 lunar cycles to repair. Then leave." The television Javier rarely used flickered with breaking news reports of an unexplained atmospheric phenomenon, an increased military presence in the region. He switched it off quickly, but not before Selene noticed. "They search already," she whispered. "Your government will give me to mine for diplomatic advantage." "Not if they don't find you," Javier replied with unexpected firmness. Something about her plight resonated with him more. Perhaps he simply welcomed purpose after years of isolation. That afternoon, they ventured back to her vessel, camouflaging it with branches and snow. Celine retrieved critical components and a small container of glowing liquid she called essence fuel, synthesized from her home planet's unique minerals as they worked. A helicopter thundered overhead. Javier pulled her beneath a rocky overhang, bodies pressed close as searchlights swept the forest floor. In that moment of shared danger, he noticed a sweet, almost citrus scent emanating from her skin. "Why help me?" she asked when the helicopter passed. "Risk punishment?" Javier considered this question as they hiked back to the cabin. "Maybe I've been alone too long," he finally answered. "Or maybe because you needed it." That night, government vehicles crawled along distant roads. Javier reinforced the cabin's security-hidden storage compartments from his more paranoid days, now serving a real purpose. When Celine emerged from cleaning herself, she wore his spare clothes, comically oversized on her slender frame. Something about this sight, this alien creature in flannel pajamas, broke the tension, and Javier found himself laughing for the first time in years. Selena's expression shifted in confusion. Before her lips curved upward in an approximation of a smile, the gill-like structures at her neck flushed a pale blue. "Your laughter," she said, "creates pleasant resonance." Neither could have predicted how those simple days of hiding would transform them both. Weeks passed in a rhythm neither had anticipated. Celine worked diligently on repairing her vessel's navigation system, while Javier maintained their cover, venturing into town for supplies and monitoring search patterns. February melted into March, bringing the first hints of spring to the mountains. One evening, as snow fell in lazy spirals outside the cabin windows, Javier found Celine studying photographs on his bookshelf, images from his former life, capturing mountain rescues and team celebrations. "You saved others before me," she observed, six-fingered hand hovering over a picture where Javier stood beside a rescued climber. "Search and rescue," he confirmed, setting down 2 mugs of tea. "Before I came here, why did you stop?" Javier rarely discussed the avalanche disaster that had claimed 4 lives. Despite his efforts, the incident that haunted his dreams and drove him to isolation. Yet something about Celine's direct gaze made evasion impossible. "A failed mission," he said simply. "People died. I couldn't save them." Selena's response surprised him. She placed 3 fingers against his temple with unexpected gentleness. Where they touched, a warmth spread, carrying with it an impression of understanding deeper than words could convey. "On Azura, we share emotional energy," she explained. "I offer comfort." That night marked a turning point. Barriers between them, both physical and cultural, began dissolving. Javier taught Celine to fish in the thawing creek. She showed him how Azurans perceived energy fields around living things. During a thunderstorm, Javier discovered another aspect of her physiology when lightning struck nearby. Selena's skin, illuminated with intricate patterns of bioluminescence, pulsing in synchronicity with the thunder. Fascinated, he watched as she explained how her people once used these displays for communication before developing technology. "It's beautiful," he said without thinking. "Functionality, not beauty," she corrected. Though the blue flush returned to her neck filaments, what he now recognized as her form of blushing, as April brought wildflowers to mountain meadows, our conversations deepened. Celine described Azura's crystal forests and floating cities. Javier shared Earth's diverse cultures and natural wonders. Each evening found them closer initially for warmth as they sat on the porch watching stars. Later, because proximity had become comfortable, then essential, the first time their hands intertwined. Her 6 fingers fitting unexpectedly well between his 5, neither acknowledged the significance. Yet that night, Javier dreamt of worlds beyond his own, while Selena's bioluminescence pulsed softly as she slept, matching the rhythm of his heartbeat. "Your vessel is nearly repaired," Javier noted one morning, trying to ignore the heaviness this observation brought. "Yes," Celine replied, her typically precise speech faltering. 3 days until optimal launch window. What remained unspoken hung between them, that her departure had once been their shared goal. but now represented an ending neither wished to face. Betrayal and sacrifice. The crack of a twig outside the cabin froze them both. Through the window, Javier spotted movement. A local hunter, Trevor Blackwood, watching them with binoculars from the tree line. Before they could react, he disappeared downhill, toward civilization and communication. "He saw me," Celine whispered, mercury eyes wide. Without disguise, they had minutes, perhaps hours, before authorities arrived. Working frantically, they gathered essentials and headed toward her hidden vessel. Spring rain had turned the forest floor treacherous, slowing their progress as they navigated by moonlight. Dawn found them at the repaired craft, now glowing with renewed energy. As Celine made final preparations, the distant sound of vehicles shattered their hope of clean escape. "You must leave," Javier urged, pressing the remaining container of essence into her hands. Now, but Celine hesitated. "Come with me," she said. "The translation device barely necessary anymore. Azura has beauty you cannot imagine." For one breathtaking moment, Javier considered it abandoning Earth for unknown stars with this being who understood him better than any human. Then reality intruded as helicopter rotors thundered overhead. "Go," he insisted. "I'll create diversion." Instead, Celine pressed something into his palm, a small crystal containing swirling light. "Memory keeper," she explained. "So part of me remains." Government vehicles crashed through underbrush. Armed figures in hazmat suits emerged, surrounding them with raised weapons. A voice on a loudspeaker demanded surrender. What happened next stunned Javier completely. Celine stepped forward, removed her clothing, and knelt before the soldier's head bowed. Her bioluminescent patterns dimmed to near darkness's gesture he'd never seen. "Off herself," she announced clearly. "In exchange for human freedom." The soldiers hesitated, confused by this unexpected submission. One approached cautiously, restraints ready. "Stop." Javier moved between them. "What are you doing, Celine?" Her eyes met his, filled with resignation. On Azura, when captured, offering physical surrender sometimes grants mercy for companions. Is Earth custom different? Understanding crashed over him. She believed she was offering herself sexually to save him. Misunderstanding born of cultural differences and perhaps traumatic past experiences. The realization broke something inside him. "That's not how it works here," he said fiercely, turning to face the advancing team. "And that's not who we are." The soldiers continued their approach, weapons trained on both human and alien. Rain began falling, highlighting Selena's bioluminescent patterns with each droplet that touched her skin. "Dr. Harrison?" called the lead officer. "We have orders to contain the extraterrestrial and bring in anyone who's had contact." Javier recognized the name Eliza Harrison, former colleague and one-time friend from his search and rescue days. She removed her tactical helmet, revealing familiar features hardened by years in authority. "Javier Cruz," she said, surprise evident. "You're the civilian harboring our visitor?" This connection created a momentary opening. While soldiers maintained their positions, Javier helped Celine dress and spoke rapidly to Harrison. "She's a refugee, Eliza, a doctor who refused to weaponize medical technology. Sound familiar?" Harrison's expression tightened. Both remembered the military contracts Javier had refused years ago, experimental rescue. Techniques repurposed for battlefield extraction. 3 minutes, Harrison finally said, stepping closer and lowering her voice. "That's all I can give you." Understanding her implicit offer, Javier turned to Celine. "Your ship can't carry too?" Selena's mercury eyes widened. "You would leave your world." "What's left for me here?" he replied, though it wasn't entirely true. Earth held beauty, but also painful memories and increasing isolation. Besides, someone should document first contact properly. Working frantically, they activated the vessel as Harrison created a deliberate distraction, directing her team to search a false location. The crystalline craft hummed to life, responding to Celine's touch on its controls. As they prepared to board, Javier hesitated. "Wait," he whistled sharply, and moments later Ruger bounded from the underbrush. Having followed faithfully at a distance, companion animal must come, Javier explained to Celine's questioning look. Her lips curved in that now familiar almost smile. Acceptable Edition. The vessel's hatch was closing when Harrison returned alone. She passed Javier, a small package emergency supplies, and a satellite phone. "In case you change your mind," she said simply. "Some stars are better admired from a distance." The craft rose silently through thinning rain clouds, Earth diminishing beneath them. In the vessel's confined space, Selena's bioluminescence created patterns across the walls. Her fingers intertwined with Javier's. "Your sacrifice," she said softly. "Leaving your planet." Javier smiled, watching the curve of Earth through a crystalline viewport. Not sacrifice. Choice. As they accelerated beyond the moon's orbit, Selena initiated the navigation sequence toward Zozuda. Her bioluminescent patterns synchronized with the ship's pulsing lights, creating a display more beautiful than any aurora. "In my language," she whispered, resting her head against his shoulder, "there is a word, Kelendari, for finding home in an unexpected place." "I think humans have similar concepts," Javier replied, as Ruger settled contentedly at their feet. Behind them, Earth became just another point of light among countless stars. Ahead lay uncertainty, adventure, and the promise of worlds where dignity transcended difference, where offering oneself meant not submission, but partnership. The journey had just begun.